Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to Wednesday. Oh my goodness. We are in 2021. Congratulations. You guys made it. So, in today's episode, I want to talk to you about another exercise that you could possibly do in as you're doing like your New Year's resolutions or really thinking about, what you can accomplish in 2021, setting your goals, whatever that might be. And so I'm going to be sharing with you a different sort of exercise that you can look back on 2020 and really rewrite the story that you created, like rewrite your story. And whatever story you have for 2020 is the story that you carry over into 2021. So that's why I'm going to give you this exercise. But before I get going, who am I? Well, my name is Stacy Mayer, and I am an executive coach and promotion strategist. I coach corporate managers to get promoted into senior level executive positions. And I'm super excited to announce that my group training program called Executive Ahead of Time, which is a highly curated 6-week program where I give you all of the skills that so that you can learn how to become the executive ahead of time and essentially never get passed over for a promotion again. So if you want to check that out, I suggest going to executiveaheadoftime.com after you listen to this episode so that you can learn more about that program and really start to put all of the practices that I share with you on social media, on my podcast, whatever that might be, really put those practices into action because it's not just about theory, it's about what can we actually learn and do in the real world. So today's exercise is actually comes to you because I love doing New Year's resolutions. I think of it, I think of these transitions as like a gateway into the next level of me. This is like, it feels a little bit like a guilty pleasure. Like I shouldn't tell you this because we all know that New Year's resolutions don't work or, we, whatever. But for me, I just take full advantage of it. And I love when I feel inspired, I just go all in, and so that's another reason why I wanted to share with you at the beginning of this, that I opened the doors for executive ahead of time, because if you're inspired, do it. Right. I think it's huge. I think whenever we have that instinct, whenever that thought comes to us that now is the time to take action, that we should just do it. So I just put the link to register and learn more about the program in the comments. So, like I said, I love doing all the things. I have a word of the day, the year. I've gone back. I've looked at my goals. I've made lists of my accomplishments. But one of the things that keeps coming up for me when I think about 2020 is how challenging it was. Like, of course, it was super challenging for every single one of us. Like, no matter if you might be on a scale of ease and not ease. So whatever that is for you, it has some element of challenge to it. And when I think about senior executive leadership, what I think about is challenge. I think that there are a lot of challenges to senior executive leadership. We look to it as like our ability to make a bigger impact, to grow at our organization, to feel like our work really matters, to have a seat at the table. But in reality, it's extremely lonely. You are often forced to make decisions that you don't know all the answers, because as you move from being the subject matter expert into executive leadership, you have to kind of figure it out on your own. You have to mitigate risk on your own. And there are also other qualities of being a senior executive leader that are sort of qualities that we learn when we are challenged, that we learn when challenging things happen to us. So today I'm going to share with you what I think the core senior executive attributes are. And I want you to think about 2020 and really understand how, because of the challenging situation, how did you already learn how to become a senior executive leader? So I'm going to just put this list. Also, this will help me as well, so that I can just read off of this list, but I go into a lot of detail in the Executive Ahead of Time group course, by the way. But these are the 8. Let me write. Sorry, give me a second. So these are the 8 core leadership attributes of senior executive leaders. And when I look at this list, the first thing that comes to mind for me is that I became really good at being productive and focused. And it also makes me laugh a little bit because I had to, right? I, became a homeschool teacher. I had to split my time with my husband because we're both working at home. I had to get in and out. Like I have to go to work, be very focused and deliberate, and then leave. I had to be very focused and deliberate and extremely effective in terms of how I was communicating with people. I had to set boundaries. I had to say no to things, right? So these are things that just kind of happened naturally based on my circumstance of 2020, based on what was actually happening in the world. But they're also attributes of senior executive leadership. So when you think about senior executive leadership, they have to be highly productive. They have to be highly focused, right? So essentially, in that aspect, I became a senior executive leader in 2020. So I would love to hear from you. If you're watching this live, if you are joining me on the replay, I want you to actually let me know in the comments or send me an instant message and let me know, when you look back at 2020, how did you become a senior executive leader? So I talked about productivity and focus. Maybe you practiced discernment. You had to realize, I can't loop everybody in, right? We can't hold virtual meetings every single day. I can't rely on passing people in the hallway. So I have to be very deliberate with my communication, right? Maybe you learned how to manage your energy better, right? So like you might take more walks during the day. Yeah, it's because you're working from home, but it could also be because you're being extremely productive throughout the day and we need to refuel our tank. Maybe you learned how to demonstrate courage to raise your hand before you were ready. Again, these are all qualities of senior executive leadership. So I just want you to start switching your thinking and thinking, how am I becoming the executive ahead of time already? Looking back on 2020, how did I already become the executive ahead of time? And then if you want to learn how to actually put that into action to, in fact, become the executive ahead of time and never get passed over for a promotion again, click the link to join my next group. We start just next week. The pre-training bonus call is actually next Friday. So don't wait. Go to executiveaheadoftime.com and register. If you have any questions, shoot me an instant message. Otherwise, I'll see you guys live again soon. Bye.